I'm back. I'm back because I wanted to talk about what's going on right now with the government shutdown, the SNAP benefits, the EBT, the Section 8. Let me just say that I am a person that used to be on SNAP benefits. And it did help me out a lot, especially with my first son. I had nothing. I had no job with the first son in the beginning, okay? And so it helped get formula for my son. I was on WIC as well, but WIC, they supply you with formula, but it doesn't last for the whole month. And that's where I would use the SNAP benefits. Now, I wasn't getting $5,000 in SNAP. That would have been nice, but no. I wasn't even getting $100 in SNAP. And that's because I wasn't even working. I was getting the minimum amount, and I had to renew every 6 months. I had to put in my income every 6 months. They always ask, has anything changed? And then you still have to go through the interview process. Even though you fill out all the paperwork every 6 months and nothing has changed, they still call you for an appointment and ask you all the questions all over again. Has anything changed? Have you found a job? Are you working? How much are you getting? You didn't supply the check stubs. Where are the check stubs? You need to send those in, or else I can't work on your case and your food stamps will be denied. That type of deal. Okay? I went through all that. When I wasn't working with my older son, I also got welfare. I don't know if that's the same thing as EBT, but I got welfare. Welfare was not much at that time. Welfare was only $150 a month. $150 a month. It wasn't this extravagant amount that I'm hearing about now. However, as a single mom, I took what I could and I used it towards my child. With my second son, I was already working. I was at the dealership. I was going to school. And I still continued to get help with the SNAP benefits again. And I was only getting the minimum again for 2 children. And this time it was closer to 100. This time it was like $80. Okay? Again, I took what I could. Whatever they could help me with, I took it. Then I got on Section 8 because the situation at home that I was in with, I've spoken about this many times before, it's like beating a dead horse. With my mother, I had to get out of the house. And so I got on Section 8, I found an apartment, okay? The apartment at that time, back in that year, which was like, what, 2001, when I had my son. He was born in 2001, the little one. And by 2002, we were out. So in 2002, a friend of mine from church and we went apartment looking. I found this, she actually found the apartment, and we talked to the landlady, and yeah, they went ahead and took Section 8, and it was like awesome. And it was a fabulous apartment for my first apartment, 2 bedroom, 2 bath. It was like 6 something, if I can remember correctly, and I had to pay $400. You're talking about making only $8 an hour at a job that was only 79 hours. every 2 weeks. So I wasn't even getting the $80, but I had to come up with $400. I also had to pay for my phone, the car, light, gas. The water was included, thank God. Gas for the car, not gas for the apartment. All these other expenses. I never had enough money to say, oh, let me take my kids out. Let me buy them designer outfits. Let me buy me a designer outfit. I never had my nails done at a salon. I never got a pedicure. I never went to a stylist to get anything done on my hair. I would go to Supercuts for a haircut because that's all I could afford. I would take them as well. We all didn't go at the same time though. I had to plan it, every month. Who's gonna get a haircut this month? Next month, this one's gonna get a haircut. The following month, I'll get a haircut. That's the way I did it. Now the good thing is that with my second child, the dad paid child support. The first one did not, at all, at all. With that said, and by the way, I got off of assistance a long time ago. I love this person that I'm with. Not only did he tell me that I didn't have to work anymore, he's like, get off that shit. I got you. I'll take care of you. And he has. And I really appreciate this hard-working man that I'm with. Yes, I complain about him sometimes, but I really do appreciate him. I love him, which is why I want to be with him. But here, with that said, let me tell you, I've been listening to YouTubers go on their channels and really degrade women that are single moms. And it just, not only does it make my blood boil, but I feel so bad for these single moms out there that are working and getting help because they don't have a man in their life. The fathers aren't paying the child support, so they need to make ends meet somehow. But yet, they're being told, well, they're not my kids. Your kids are not my responsibility. Why should I be feeding your kids? What fault is it of mine that you chose that baby daddy? You're the one that spread, even to that point, you're the one that spread your legs and had a popping out kids with some man you just met when you don't even know the story behind it. Let me just put this in there about myself. The first baby daddy for my son, my older son, we were high school sweethearts for a while. Things didn't work out after high school. That's when I got pregnant. Second baby daddy, we were together for 10 years. Okay? So it wasn't like I was bed hopping, purposely getting myself pregnant. And a lot of these women that are out there that are single moms don't bed hop either. They were in a situation where, they actually thought this relationship was going to work out. They were really in love. They thought, this guy that told them they were going to have a child and they were going to be together and he was going to take care of them. Maybe they did believe all that, and at the very last minute, they split. Because that's how men are sometimes. Some men, not all men. So I don't think it's fair to fault these mothers. And it's not fair for the children to have to go without. Because you feel that they're losers. That these parents, these mothers, should I say, are losers because all they did was have kids. Now, Do I agree with you that some people did take advantage of the system? Absolutely. And because of those people that took advantage of the system, it's affecting the people that are not taking advantage, that actually need it and are not going to get it anymore or this coming month. And that really breaks my heart because it's not their fault. They're doing the best they can, like I said, by working, for providing for their kids. They just needed that little extra help. Now I understand a lot of people are like, well, it's supposed to be a hand up, not a hand out. You obviously have never been in a situation like that. Maybe you have good role models in your life that can speak to you from preventing you from getting into a situation like that. Not everybody has that. Now, I'm not trying to be like, oh, woe is me, woe are them, whatever. No, I'm being real here. So many people are just being so proud that they're not on assistance and they don't need it and they're married and they make a lot of money to afford everything and that's why they have their kids. And let me just put down all of these people that have kids and they're not married. They're all Jezebels, you know? And I'm like, wow, where's the humanity? MAGA, we're Christians. The majority of us are Christians. That's not very Christ-like. I can be Christ-like. I can believe in a lot of the things that MAGA believe in, but when it comes to another human being, that's where I separate politics from life. That's where I'm like, no, these lives need help. And instead of trying to figure out a way how to help them, we're degrading them. Another thing is the churches. Why aren't the churches stepping up? I don't hear of any churches saying, oh, you know, we're going to have food banks in November. We're going to ask our congregation for donations for turkeys, stuffings, potatoes, green beans, corn, rolls, all the fixings, you know. We're going to ask for that too so that we can give to the single parents, not necessarily in our congregation, but people that need it out there. We can give them vouchers so they can come to the church and we'll go ahead and give them a whole kit so they can have a Thanksgiving meal with their kids, these single moms. I'm not hearing this. Hopefully my church will step up. They usually do, every year they do ask for donations. But hopefully this year they'll start a little sooner and step up and say these things and really make it known that we're going to give it to the single moms. I know our local grocery stores, they said they were going to help the HEBs. They were going to do some donations or something like that. I saw something like that on the news. Not that I watch the news that often, but I just happen, anytime you turn on the television, you get Spectrum 1 and the news comes out. So that's how I saw that. But here's the thing. Guys, we need to start showing these people some grace. Regardless of them some of them taking advantage of everything and not using it wisely. We still need to show them some grace. We should be praying for them. You know, you never know. This might make their hearts turn around and come to God. They may want salvation now. They may want to repent from all those things that they did and turn a new leaf in life. And instead of leaving our doors open and willing to pray for them and help them, we're closing the doors and saying, too bad for you. Boo-hoo, it sucks to be you. And that's wrong. I, as a Christian, cannot do that. The Bible does say that if you don't work, you don't eat. But it also says that God shall provide for all of our needs. When Jesus was out there preaching, there was a crowd, right? And there was a boy that only had, 2 loaves of bread and a couple of fishes. And he needed to feed this entire crowd. And the disciples were like, Lord, they're hungry, we're hungry, but how are we going to feed them? This is all we have. And what did Jesus do? He made that little bit multiply, and he fed everybody. He didn't say to the crowd, oh, wait a minute. Who's working and who's not? I need you to raise your hand. Who does have a job? Because only those at work eat. If you're not working, I'm sorry, I cannot help you. You'll just have to move back or just go to the right or the left, something, you're just gonna have to spread out away from the people that are working, because those are the only ones that are gonna get fish and bread. Sorry. No. He fed everybody. Everybody was the same to him. He fed everybody. He provided for all of them. That is the kind of disciples he wants. We are the disciples. We are the ones that are supposed to be Christ-like and helping our brothers and sisters, not condemning them. Yes, we can correct them. If we have a neighbor that was selling food stamps, or that that is on welfare and SNAP benefits and whatever else, Section 8, whatever, and you see that she's driving this brand new car and she's got her nails done and a nice hairstyle and wearing all the designer bags and stuff, yeah, you can correct her. If she comes knocking on your door and she's like, hey, I'm not going to get stamps this month. Do you have anything you can spare? Come on in, sis. I want to talk to you first. You do know that what you were doing was wrong. And this is the Lord's way of telling you that it was wrong. And I do believe that the Lord wants to provide for you. But you need to repent of all of that first. And then pray with them. Have them ask the Lord for forgiveness and pray for them. And then if you can spare something, you know what? I will get that for you. What do you need? What you need? Milk, bread, cheese, cereals for your children? I'll get it for you. I'll drop it off tomorrow. Or I'll drop it off later today. However you want to figure it out. You could buy it for them. If you feel like, well, if I give them the money, I don't know where it's going to go. Okay, well then you buy it for them and you give it to her instead. Guys, we need to be better. And I know that God is weeping right now because we're not helping. He doesn't want children to starve. He doesn't want the elderly to suffer. The elderly are also getting these benefits. The disabled are getting these benefits. People that can't get a job. And I mean, if you ask me, it's ridiculous to be like, well, get a job and then you'll have money for food. When these people, a lot of them don't have an education. They don't have the means. And you expect them to suddenly be educated overnight and get a job by November the 1st to provide for their families? And one last thing is the fathers. If you are a father and you are not with your children, you are not with your ex, you as a father still need to provide for your children. Just because you're no longer with that person, that woman that you chose to have your children, it does not give you the excuse to think out of sight, out of mind. I don't see them, I don't care. They are your responsibility. And you should be paying child support. You should be calling that baby mama and ask, what do my kids need? I heard about the shutdown. What do my kids need? Let me get them for it. For them, sorry. Oh, that just makes me so angry. You fathers need to step up. You're supposed to be the leaders, regardless if you are in that relationship or not. You should be the leaders to your children. Positive role models. Show them how to do life the right way. Do all that you can for them. It is not right if you're living in this gorgeous apartment or home and your kids are suffering because their mama can barely make ends meet. Anyhow, that's all I have to say about that. I don't want to get angry. But I love you all. Thank you for listening. And yeah, let's send some prayers out. Let's gather, let's come into agreement and send some prayers out instead of condemning. Love you all. Say bye to the kitty.